Recording in progress.
Let me start my video. Haha.
Hey, good morning. How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Good. All right, let me go live. How's everybody's week going?
Too fast.
Too fast. I know, it's hard to believe like we're at the end of October. I'm like,
Soon will be tax time again.
you are correct. You are correct. All right. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, doing good.
Good.
Good to see you.
All right, I think we're live.
Internet's a little spotty. The internet a little spotty this one.
Good morning, Rebecca. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Good. Good morning, Elise, James. How's everybody doing? Facebook. Anybody have any wins to share so far this week?
Just progress.
Hey, that's
Moving
always a good
forward.
thing. Yeah. Have
Trying-
you did you get to set any of those meetings or anything up that we had chatted about last week?
I sent an email to the lady that I was talking about for the healthcare, and found out that her mother passed away.
Oh,
So,
no.
I sent the email, and just kind of like gave her my condolences and stuff, and said when she was ready, to give me, a call or let me know, if she wanted to talk. And I've just been kind of putting myself out there, which I haven't really been doing. So I did get a call from a friend of mine that I went to high school with, saying that that her charter school was looking for bookkeeping, but I think it was
Yay.
accountant.
Oh, they wanted like a full
the
time.
description was more, about like everything. So, and I noticed a lot of people get accounting and bookkeeping a little mixed up. And so, and then I'm just posting ads and trying to get out there, and I'm noticing that I'm getting reviews and people are looking at my stuff, and, I'm getting noticed. So I figured that's kind of a good start. And I came up with an idea that I was going to focus on trying to advertise myself too on our neighborhood website, because our website that we have through our community, there's a lot of like handymen and service people that advertise on there. And I thought I could, maybe attach my website link, and let them know that I'm around, in the community. I remember you talking about that you kind of focus on your local community too. So I thought, oh, that's a good idea. So that was going to be another goal of mine. I used to be on bark.com, and I wasn't too thrilled about that, because I felt like you were wasting a lot of money, because there's just like a ton of people that are like reaching out, and it's not even a guarantee that you're even going to talk to the person.
Yeah.
So I did have a few credits left on there, and I did reach out to, I think I talked to you yesterday about that lady that I think it maybe a family member passed away, or her parents or something, and she was
the estate. Yeah.
So I sent an email out to her. She requested emails only. She did say in the request that she's just planning. So I haven't heard anything, but I just figured I'll just, reach out and just see what happens, because that could be an opportunity at least to do like some cleanup work and, learn a little bit about that. So,
Yep.
yeah, just been doing that. And
Awesome. Good deal. It sounds like you have a lot of stuff going on though. I mean, like you're marketing, you're doing all the things. So that's going to be huge. And you're getting traction already. So that's that says a lot, you know. So
Okay.
and yeah, local, I have found, like for me, local with bookkeeping, and we talk about this all the time, you have to have like that know, like, and trust factor. So when you're dealing with like people that are local to you, they kind of either, they may not personally know you, but they probably know people that you know, family, friends, whatever the case is. And they
Yeah.
also know that like, hey, if I need to go hunt her down for some reason, she's right next door or right up the road or
Right.
whatever, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean that's always been like a huge thing for me. And part of my reason reason I even started out with that was because when I started my business, it was pre-COVID. So you still had a lot of kickback from people about, I don't know if I want to work with somebody in another state or
Right.
virtually and all the things. Once COVID happened, I mean, now people they saw you were able to work from anywhere and stuff. So it kind of opened more doors, I feel like. But that's kind of
Right.
why I started there, but I've seen huge benefits from being in the local area, you know. So yeah, I think that's going to be
Well, I
huge
want
for
to
you.
I want to focus on remote because I really would like to work from home and be able to
Mhm.
like expand myself all over. Um,
Yep.
when you're talking to people, this is just like hypothetically because I haven't experienced it yet, but do you just kind of like throw yourself out there right away and say, you know, I'm remote, and so that they're aware of, you know, that you want to work, you know, from home, and that you just like work with QuickBooks only, and do you throw that stuff out there right away, or do you just kind of listen to what they have to say and then say something afterwards?
Yeah, we usually kind of have the conversation and then it will come up or something along those lines, because usually they want to know, how do you work? How would this situation work?
Okay.
So then that kind of opens the door. Well, I work with QuickBooks Online, so you can send me everything. I have some local clients who, like, I have one that comes drops paperwork off at my house all the time just because
Oh,
that's what they feel more comfortable doing.
right.
So I'm fine with it, you know. Um, so, but outside of that, like to go to somebody's location and like do the bookkeeping, do the work, like
Yeah, I
I'm
don't want to do
not
that
doing that.
either.
Yeah.
I'm done with
I'm
that.
not doing that.
No.
And I mean, you can also let them know, like, and I don't know you, but like for me, that if I went to somebody's place of business, my schedule would have to fit their schedule at that time. I might be working at midnight sometimes because I've been at school with my daughter all day doing stuff. Like that's not my
Sure.
schedule, you know, like I'm gonna get your work done, but it's might be at midnight
On
tonight, you
your,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay,
So
cool.
awesome. Hey Sherry.
Hey,
Hi.
sorry.
So
I was
Becky's
go
getting
log in and my
some
computer was like,
Becky's getting some traction from her marketing, posting, all the things. So that's exciting.
good. That's exciting. Who are you? Who's seeing it?
I've been doing it on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I actually got a call from one of my high school years ago. Went to high school with her, and she said that the charter school that she was working at was looking for a bookkeeper. But as I looked further in, she sent me like the description and stuff. It looked more like an accountant than a bookkeeper. And I was just telling Megan that, you know, I feel like some of these people get bookkeeping and accounting kind of mixed up. And they were looking for someone, you know, it looked like, you know, more like accrual stuff. And I mean, I am a board chair for a charter school, so I know I mean, it has to be accounting because they deal with, you know, federal and state funding, and that's,
Yeah, I think they're nonprofits for the most
yeah,
part.
and it's not for profit. Plus, they send it out. You know, they don't get paid until after the fact, so it's accrual stuff. It's not cash based. So, and there's a lot of estimate stuff, you know, based off of that. So, I mean, just I was kind of like, oh, that's a bummer. You know, I thought maybe it might be like, you know, for just getting transactions put in and stuff, because I know schools, you know, use credit cards and stuff like that and buying all of their supplies and all that. But it sounded like it was more everything. And the description was, you know, like lots of experience, wanted references and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, that won't work with work with me right now. So, but I do have experience in that, just being a board chair for many years, almost 10 years now. So I know how that works, but yeah. So
that actually brings up an interesting, so while it might be farther ahead than you're ready to step into, there were actually a lot of opportunities where I know we just had someone work with a staffing company, and I've seen other people. I was also encouraged to do this when I first started. I decided not to because I didn't ever want to go back to any sort of role where I needed to be in person. Now I probably could be like, I could probably meet someone in person, but I still wouldn't work in person. Where a lot of temp staffing agencies like Robert and Half, I worked with a lot of them when I was in corporate because I would go to them if I needed a job change or I was looking for higher pay. I used them to climb that ladder. So those are good agencies to work with because getting networked with them, they have people come through the door and they're like, oh, you just need someone temporary during like maternity leave or something. Can also turn in long time. Not everyone comes back from maternity
right.
leave. And they can actually place you as a remote bookkeeper because sometimes that's all a client needs, but it's a larger company. So they're used to hiring people. But really, as bookkeepers, we are outsourced, like we're outsourced bookkeepers, outsourced in some states accountants. So I fall into an accountant role in a lot of states. I'm not a CPA. So in some states, they don't let me say that, but I am a trained, qualified. I have a master's in accounting. So it just gets a little funky with some states, but they will outsource that department in whole. So especially if you're looking to grow, and Rebecca, I know you actually do have a bigger goal than some people. So if you're willing to hire, you can take on that full department. So now you're their financials, you're doing their AR, you're doing their AP. And that can look like 10 AR invoices a month. That can look like, 15 bills a month that you're actually paying, but you can actually present yourself as an outsourced accountant, outsourced bookkeeper, so that you're not taking an in-person role.
Mhm.
And I think bookkeepers forget this because, I think some bookkeepers hold themselves back with a mentality of, I just want a job that feels to me like $300 a month. But if you start looking yourself as, I'm replacing an employee that they would have to hire at $1,600 a month, you're saving them not only the $1,600 a month, but also the employer taxes.
Right.
They're paying about $1,800
And benefits.
$2,400 a month for a part-time employee. In a lot of cases, that's qualified, and they have to train them in their policies and procedures. And if they're trying to hire on the lower end, not only are they having to train them and hope the person can do it correctly, you already know how to do it, you're already doing it correctly, you're already responsible for your education so that they don't have to worry about that. You're going to take care of it for them, and you're going to go get that education, right? But also saving them the overhead and the stress as a boss, like as you guys start to hire, of making sure that person has enough to do. Because I'm not going to, right? Like as an employer, if I'm hiring you for 20 hours a week, I want to give you 8 hours of work a day and see how much you can get through. But that's a lot to keep up with. And if they're small, they're gonna be worried about giving them enough. Do I have enough work to actually give this person to keep them busy? Because if they don't, the person's gonna leave. Or just eat up time doing it as slowly as possible so they still get paid the 20 hours. That's the value you bring to those clients.
Okay. So there's staffing.
And that's how it's really
agencies
easy to
that-
get a $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 client, $2,400 a month client, because you take on that department for them. Right.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I think there's a lag on my side. So. Just challenging the status quo.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing today, apparently, Megan. But if your average client is 300 a month, I was just thinking about this because a year ago I was signing on 3 to 5 clients a month. That's a lot to onboard a month. This
Yeah.
year I've kind of gone down to about 1 client a month, and that is just fine by me. But that 1 client covers what it would have been 3 to 5 clients a month last year. That feels really good to me. I'm good with that. Because it's a lot less work. I streamline it. I can get all of the information and I can really put the time in it while not missing out on the life I want to be living with my kids and baking cookies and painting. Yesterday we had a dance party, or one of the days this week we had a dance party with my 5-year-old, and she ate it up, right? Like, so one $1,600 client where you are doing their AR, AP, payroll, and you hire a contractor to help you with it. You're going to systematize it, and then you're going to train a contractor or an employee to do it so that you don't have to. I've given examples to other people where, okay, maybe you have someone specifically do payroll. Then you have another contractor specifically do AR. Maybe you have that contractor do payroll, AP as well. Maybe you have a third contractor just focus on payroll, right? So instead of giving one contractor part of the whole client, say, this is how we're going to do everyone's AR. But there might be some caveats on how we get the information and how we have to execute. But in principle, this is what needs to be done. This is what I want you to do. Payroll, here's what I want you to do. That way you're not pinch hitting. And I said that yesterday and someone didn't know what it meant, like covering for someone, right? You're not having to be the person that's getting the call 4 p.m. on a Friday saying, hey, something's wrong with payroll, right? Whatever that problem is, you have a contractor who's doing it for you. And you're going to set the expectation that they're doing it. You don't have to do it this way. It's just an option. You can also do like a percentage and have a contractor do a percentage of what you're charging the client. You just want to make sure that the hourly rate's fair. And typically when Megan and I have done this, Megan, correct me if I'm wrong, I've seen contractors do about an hourly rate of $30 to $50 under like a 30%.
Yeah, that's what I try. And sometimes even more than that. I try to make sure like I get my contractors to track their time every once in a while, just so I can make sure that my prices are still good, that it's not changed. But yeah, it usually stays somewhere a minimum of 30 to 50 for sure.
Yeah. I've seen higher
Yeah.
on cleanup jobs where it's like, we quoted this and I've given them a percentage and there were no glitches in the cleanup, and it's it's super rewarding. That's not always the case, but I don't think I've seen less than 30 when we do that. But I do have another contractor I pay hourly, and she does she's that payroll person for me, and AR. She actually does AR and invoicing because for a specific client, they're really intertwined. So we're using the same documentation. So she does both of those for me.
And you get these people from a staffing agency, or do you just reach out to them? In general.
I'm saying you could get them from a staffing company.
Oh, okay.
I get them through just my normal marketing efforts.
Right. Okay.
So the last one is actually a friend from Facebook who has followed my business for a few years. They already had a bookkeeper, but I became his on deck person. And I think I owe credit to that phrase specifically to someone in this group, where they reference like being on deck. And I kind of in principle became his on deck person. So when the need arose, I was the first one he called.
Mm.
Outside of that, one came from Upwork recently. Just talked to someone from the expo that I went to in Dallas. Then another one, I have a call today. They found me on Upwork. So I really pulled back on Upwork because I don't need 3 to 5 clients a month. So I pulled back a lot. They just found me through like a search, or I got recommended.
And what exactly this Upwork? I've never heard. You guys talked about it in the last session but I've never heard of it before. So what exactly is it, like freelancing for bookkeeping?
It's going to be similar to Bark a little bit, I think.
Okay. And is that like, do they like bid for bookkeepers, and like, do you have to like set up like how much you want to how much you want to charge them, or I mean, is it per
Yeah,
project or?
So what will happen, I don't know if you've ever used like Freelancer or Fiverr. So Upwork used to be Freelancer, which was really similar to Fiverr.com.
Yeah, I remember Fiverr.
Okay, so Fiverr still exists.
Mhm.
Upwork is really similar, but when it started out, it wasn't as scammy
Okay.
in nature. There is a lot of scams that do happen. So, out of my 300 that I was doing, I would know X percentage would reply back, and you would be like, oh, that's instant spam, because they'd be like Telegram or whatever. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to report you as spam. And you actually get your connects back. So the platform works. You'll put a profile together, talking about yourself, your expertise, who you serve. I have a template for you in the Upwork course that I did, which was just exactly what I did. So it's a really long course. It's a 2-hour, just me telling you step by step what I did. That's just who I am. So sorry, it's long, but I give you a template and a bio template, a proposal template, all of those things. And it's no joke, exactly what I did and do if I go get on it. Like, still to this day, even with all of the changes, I'm not gonna. So anyway, so you do a bio, you have a picture, you have a profile, just like Facebook, just like any platform. Then you would click on like jobs, and you're gonna see people post, I need a bookkeeper to do this. I need someone trained in e-commerce to do this. And you're gonna say, okay, I'm interested in doing that for you. So I'm gonna reply back. That's called a proposal on Upwork. So you submit like a cover letter proposal to them, and you can attach like a brochure or a video, whatever you want to do, and say, here's how I can help you. You can now boost it with like additional connects, things like that. I still don't. If they want to work with me, great. I encourage some specific requirements. Like if it's been 48 hours and they haven't viewed it, you might not, and it's been like maxed out, you might not apply for it. But anyway, I digress. So you would submit a proposal and then wait for them to respond back to you, because you can't really contact them outside of doing that.
Right. It does sound like work.
You also have an option to do projects on there. So if they respond back to you, you can say, hey, this is my hourly rate, because it works as like hourly rate. But you can also say, hey, we actually work in packages. My packages start at XYZ a month. That's what I did. I did occasionally have someone be a stickler with, well, you said your hourly rate's this. And I'm like, well, whatever. And so I, butted heads with people, because that's just the nature of Upwork. So you run into some people who want you to work for $5 an hour. Goes on to your client. You're going to say no to them.
Right.
It's okay to say no to them. And then outside of that, you do have projects that you can post in Upwork that says, I'll do a QuickBooks cleanup. This is what it starts at per month. And then you'll give them instructions on how to contact you. The thing about projects, though, is they can check out immediately. They can select the project and select their package and check out. So you want to make sure when you're packaging that product, it's actually priced correctly if they make a mistake, right? So You probably want it to be like, I'll review your chart of accounts, or I will do this journal entry for you, or I'll like something that's not gonna
More specific. Yeah.
really specific when you
Yeah.
create those projects, so that you actually get paid what it takes to do it
Right.
if they check out. Because once they check out, your timeline starts on delivering the product. So
Okay.
that's just a caveat. There is more work than you could handle on Upwork if you took that route. What I have seen a lot of times is people are like, okay, I'm going to try Upwork. They go do 5, 10, 20 proposals, and then they give up. You might get a client with 20. Likely you're going to get one message back, and that might not go anywhere. So your goal is to do a lot more. I recommend at least 100. And I 100% ask you, especially if you want me to help you with it, to track your metrics. How many proposals did you submit? How many came back as spam? How many messages did you get back? How many phone calls did you get? And then how many clients?
And
Because
there's a
we
pricing
can start
from this,
looking.
right? You have to pay a certain fee for this.
So it's like $15 a month to have a professional profile. That's optional. You don't have to do that. With that, it includes a certain number of connects, which are how you bid. Like it costs you to say, hey, I want to talk to you. But it's pretty cheap. I spend about $1.50 per attempt conversation.
Okay, that's not bad.
On average. So
That's
a
cheaper than
connect is about
Bark.
15 cents a piece. And I found that it cost about an average of 4 connects on average. So some are going to be 6, some are going to be 2. If you boost, these numbers do not apply. So it's about 60 cents per proposal from my standard. Then as I was doing it for a couple of years, I actually chose to hire an admin to do it for me. I no longer have them doing it because I pulled back a lot. At most, I was spending $300 a month with the admin, with the connects. But I was doing 3 to 5 clients a month. So that was more than worth it for me. But also, as I hired an admin, the quality did go down. Right. So when I say track those metrics, that will tell you if you're getting lazy in how you're submitting proposals, if you're spending too much time on your proposals, or bidding on projects that you don't actually want. You're not reading through the proposals well enough to either communicate correctly, or you're bidding on stuff that just doesn't apply to you. You're just bidding to bid. I've seen that happen too.
Okay. Well, thank you for explaining that.
Megan has never once been on the platform, and she's grown her business just fine.
Yeah, I was just curious. I don't know if that would be my route either, but I just thought I would ask about it because I ran into that bark.com, but I wasn't too thrilled with that. But I didn't know if there were like other services out there that had stuff, to do that. But
really, Bark works too, though. It does work. It takes learning how you're going to use it and then implementing a process behind it. Any platform will work. So Megan and I were just chatting actually before this call, and I think sometimes we start kind of getting shiny object syndrome. And this isn't necessarily you. This is just for the whole group, where we think, okay, well, Sherry grew her business with Upwork. Okay, Jara started out on Bark. Megan, Chelsea are doing a great job on Facebook. That's where all of their clients are coming from. Sandra, Chelsea, etc. They're growing with BNI. So you can hear all of these things, or now you're going to see an ad with, you should do advisory, you should do workshops.
Oh yeah.
You should be running ads, right? Or are you using LinkedIn? You're obviously using LinkedIn, which is great. There's a lot of different options.
Right.
When I first started my business, so I don't know how many people know this, but I actually started my a form of my bookkeeping business in 2015.
Oh, wow.
I didn't continue it, but I did technically land a $2,400 a month client where I went to her house and worked.
Oh,
I quit my job and I was like, so it was still very much an employee situation, because I went at a certain time, I kept protest. I was like, I'm contractor, so I can get here whenever I want. But theoretically, I was kind of supposed to be there at a certain time. I should not have been a contractor. But during that time, I did also get on Fiverr and tried Fiverr, but I had no context that I have now. When I got on Upwork, though, remember, it was an experiment. I don't know if you've heard this story. My husband wanted to start a chemical engineering company because that's his background and he really enjoys making products, doing things. This poor guy is not getting to do that. That's like over his dead body. He has tried everything to revamp that. And unless he goes and really starts his own business, he's not getting the opportunity to do that with another company. So I was like, okay, well, I have a professional background. If you want to start that, let me go test this platform. It's for professionals. And so since you have your doctorate, I actually have my master's. Let me just go see if this platform works. Well, it works. And yeah, now here I am. So, and he did get some makeup. He did some cosmetic jobs from it. So it's not just for accounting. He did get some 3D printing jobs as well. So things like that. So it does work. And his methodology was not as scientific as mine became, because I was like, this is all I could do. 3 to 5 proposals a day. That was all I had. My goal with it was to be consistent. And I think that's the key with anything that you do. So Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, podcasting, guest podcasting, right? The list can go on with the options you have to do marketing. The biggest thing is consistency, right? So in the last podcast, I only had to sponsor the podcast. I had 6 discovery calls, $1,000 a month client. That is a really good return on investment.
yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things you can do. Upwork, if you do Upwork and then do a blog type thing on your, or not Upwork, YouTube, and have it as like a blog on your website, you're going to get found in Google search and on YouTube search. So YouTube is a glorified search engine.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get found both of there, and you only have to show up like 3 times a week or once a week, do 3 videos, get them posted, schedule them out, and develop a system there. And that should bring you leads, and you're just going to work on the workflow to make sure that it does bring you leads, right? Lots of different ways to market. Sorry, Megan, I went on a marketing tangent. I was asked about Upwork.
No, that's fine.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I got it short. I gotta leave, so I'm sorry. I just wanted to pop in and at least talk to you guys for a little bit, but I have an appointment.
Glad you did.
So have a good day, you guys.
Bye, you
Later.
too.
Thank you. Bye.
Of course.
Hi, Sherry. Hi, Megan.
Hey, how are
Hey,
you?
Good. I think I have a call with one of you tomorrow.
Both
But
of us, I believe.
So my question is kind of similar to Rebecca's. This is my 3rd year in business, and one of the things that I'm really struggling with marketing is picking the few routes that I want to go and really dedicating time towards it. It's like Sherry said, I kind of sometimes get shiny object syndrome. And it's funny that you mentioned Upwork, because I have a call later on today. Like, I'm collabing with another business owner that I met, and she's like, oh yeah, I only exclusively grow my business on Upwork. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not sure how to optimize my profile. I tried it once a long time ago, but like you said, it's like, oh yeah, $6 an hour. I'm like, I'm in Washington, DC. Don't think that's legal, And how I've grown my business thus far is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Paro platform. Yeah. So, I've almost.
Do you have a public accounting background?
I do not have a public accounting background, no, but I take only exclusively like the bookkeeping type jobs. And I've almost exclusively grown my business through Paro. And I've figured out a way to hack it, right? It's like there's reps and I, send gift cards and I have their personal cell phone numbers and like I'll send out texts every once in a while whenever I want to revamp my business or add new clients and things like that. And it's worked very great. I mean, the returns are absolutely amazing. But I guess my issue is Paro upcharges whatever I propose to the client by 50%. So if I tell the client I'm charging $800 for bookkeeping, the client is paying $1,600.
Wow.
Yeah. And the caliber of the businesses on Paro is so that, is that they can afford it. Like a lot of the clients that I've gotten through there, they're doing 10 million, they're doing 15 million. They're like very, and then, the thing that bothers you, you're like, they're literally paying 1,600. They're like, if I could find them outside of Paro, I could potentially, I would charge them 1,000. I don't think I could justify 1,600 as an example for one client, but that's kind of the dilemma and the crossroads that I'm at. Like, I know Paro works. Whenever I've needed it, I can, go in and I can push a little and I've kind of hacked it to gain a lot of discovery calls and line clients, but I really want to do something outside of it and trying to figure out what that looks like.
That's a really good question. So Megan, interrupt me if you have a thought. I do have a thought. So I don't know if you've read Pumpkin Plan. It's a quick read. I would read it. But what I would do is the clients that you have from Paro, I would go analyze them. So we're going to pull up each of their QuickBooks files and we're going to say, okay, how many transactions? What are you doing? Analyze their books. So we're going to take all of the numbers, how many bank accounts, how many transactions, how long is it taking me to do them? So as much of the information as you can get into Excel, okay, for the clients. And you're going to go ahead and put their names behind them by that information. So like, client 1, client A, all of that information, make it like a chart. Client B, client C. Then we're going to rate each of those clients, A, B, or C, right? Favorite client, okay, I kind of like you. C client, I would prefer to not have one of you ever again. Well, I really don't want you. I'm glad I have you. I don't want you. D, I don't want you ever again in my life, right? Type of rating system. So A, B, C, D, you could do E, F. I wouldn't do more than 5. Rate the clients. Then your favorite clients and the clients that you're most profitable with, I would do both. So if you have like C clients that are most profitable, I would also do a profitability analysis on them based on your cost. So your cost to do the work. So your hourly rate, if you have a contractor, all of those things, with what you're charging Paro to do it, not what they're paying, right?
Yeah.
You could also do an analysis based on what they're paying Paro, so you know how much money you're giving up on the table and where you could actually take your business.
Yeah.
Now, after that, you're going to take your favorite, most profitable client or clients, but there might just be one, that's okay. And you're going to go look at all of their vendors, the industry that they're in, what publications might they be subscribed to? What books are they reading? Did they go into any conferences this past year? You're going to go look inside their vendor list and see, who are you? What are you about? Where could I find you? Right? Because if they always go to this conference, and then you might cross-check that with your other clients. What conferences are they going? Where can I find you? What podcast are you listening to? Right? And you might ask them that question. The reason I suggest reading Pumpkin Plan is it walks you through that in a more succinct way than Michalowicz does. So what I'm trying to get you to do from that is identify the pumpkin out of that situation, or just your pumpkin client right now. So in Pumpkin Plan, he talks about growing a giant pumpkin. And to grow a giant pumpkin, you actually have to get rid of all of the other pumpkins around it, because those pumpkins are going to suck up resources that prevent the pumpkin from growing to a clump.
Which is a situation that I'm kind of in right now. I have like my largest client is just like, it's sucking me. Sucking
so
my
then
energy
maybe
and
that's
my
not the
joy.
client you want, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's okay to say, yep, that client, nope, I don't want them. You're going to find your favorite client out of the clients that you have. And we're going to grow more clients like that. Even if it's $300 a month. Because
Right. But if
you
that's
do
the
it
most
well,
profitable, yeah, exactly.
right? So we just want to find that sweet spot with the clients that you have right now and figure out the price for them. So I know from just recently, I went to 2 events where I interacted with a lot of people doing 100 or a million to 10 million and beyond. But what I discovered in talking to a lot of people, because I just made it my mission to talk to a lot of people, was a lot of people, their target audience is actually people doing 1 million to 10 million. That surprised me for some reason. Apparently I had so many mindset issues around it, but I was like, well, if all of these people are talking to people doing 1 million to 10 million, why can't I serve more clients like that? Because my favorite clients are actually doing over $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're doing that 1 to 10 million, but I had to step, like, after hearing that in Phoenix, I went and looked at my clients and I was like, oh, my top 3 clients, that fits them. Okay, that changes the podcast I might target, changes where I might be looking for those clients and how I speak to them or how I craft my Upwork profile. I haven't yet changed it, but like that would be a factor in maybe I only serve clients that are doing over 1 million because I have an expectation that what is it about this client that I like? Not just the number of transactions, not just the bank accounts. We want to know, we want to get really deep into that analysis to figure out what is it about their personality, about how they already have, maybe do they already have processes and procedures set up?
Right. Or
how are they communicating to you? Do they want phone calls? Do they want Zoom? Do they want to be left alone? Like all of this comes together to figure out, okay, this is my ideal client. This is all of the nitty gritty details. And then I'm going to go find more of them. And
I think that's something I haven't, the 2 things that I haven't done thus far is do that analysis with my current client list. Now that I'm really trying to, and I'm actually going the route that Megan that you mentioned is like through Facebook, because I really want to build that network and community and have that asset that my goal is to further down the line be able to tap into. And then the second thing is I haven't really analyzed my sales process. Like what is my sales, what do you call it? Like what's my average number of days to close a sale? And so that's also part of the reason why I did schedule a call with you guys, because I would love to see if that's something I could get help walking through. That would be really, honestly, to have someone help me identify and go through my client list. What do I like? What do I do? Because I'm learning, but I just rather cut down the time. I have 2 kids and life does not afford me currently all that extra time that I had when I first started my business to be able to sit there and say, let me learn through trial and error that I actually will never, ever touch accounts receivable work for clients, stuff like that. So I look forward to our calls tomorrow.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it. Megan and I will both be on that call, as
Cool.
far as I know.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
We try to do those together if we can, because it's fun. But yeah, you're doing all the right things. We're thinking about all of the right things. And I think just implementing those and getting those onto something that you could actually use, some sort of dashboard or something, would be absolutely the next step and something we can help with for sure. So looking forward to that.
Is that something that you have for your own individual firms, where you you go frequently and you analyze, what's your favorite clients? What do they look like? I mean, the idea is, right, to have this ideal client character that you can always refer back to. Sometimes it doesn't work out as much, especially when sometimes your eye is on, did I hit my financial goal for the month or for the quarter or for the year? but having surprised myself with the financial goals that I've surpassed, that I put for myself, I think for 2024, that's going to be what's important to me. It's just I really want to fire some clients, and then have space to replace with the exact ones that I'm looking for it to be the firm that, that I want for my position.
Absolutely. Yeah, I actually have an Excel template. And then I went pretty in depth last year on my own. But I went about it for a very specific purpose, more so on profitability, and then identifying the ones I didn't want. So my firm is in a lot better place than it was in January. I think it should always be in a better place than it was 6 months ago, right? We should always be improving our firm, our company. And my average client rate has also gone up. Kind of held down by a couple of clients I'm on the fence about parting ways with. Two of them, we do them. They're not a problem. They do bring down my average rate, but that hasn't been enough reasons to let go of them. So I just kind of exclude them because I'm like, okay, moving forward, what is my average rate? So I kind of exclude 3 of my clients from that. I still factor it in, but I also do the calculation without them because of where I'm going. One of them's a super close friend. The other they barely talk to me. So I'm like, as long as they're happy, we'll just keep doing it. They're pretty easy. I don't know. Megan, you're laughing.
Those are always nice.
They're always nice. I'm like, why would I let you go?
Exactly.
Do you guys have a minimum that you charge, like minimum bookkeeping monthly fee?
Mine now is technically $525 a month.
Okay.
That's just me personally. Some of the clients I just referenced are actually under that because they came on before I got to that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Megan, do you have a minimum?
Not necessarily, because I usually quote based on transactions, but none of my clients are under $200 a month.
Oh, that's really, I've actually met quite a few bookkeepers who they have this like 200 clients, but then so many of them are paying like 125, 195. And I'm just like, I think for me, my average is probably, I think it's about 500, 550. I have that's just my minimum that I don't quote below. But if I had to check what my actual client average is based on what I'm charging my individual clients, I actually don't know, which I don't like that I don't know.
Okay. We can take a look at it. And I think tomorrow, let's also talk more about the 4-week success plan, which
Sure.
will also give us time. So we do, starting November 6th is our next round. You feel free to say no to this, but during those 4 weeks, we get really clear on what your why is. Back to, you said that you have 2 kids. I'm sure you're not wanting to work full time.
No, not at all.
You're wanting to constrain when you're working, right? So we look at that and then we start to put it on paper. So in addition to we can do one-to-ones to work on the dashboards, but we also during those 4 weeks we go through a cash flow plan where we look at really under the hood. We'll give you a template based on your QuickBooks file, your bookkeeping. You can go fill this in. And then we can start to project out like, okay, as we move our firm to where we want it to be, do we need to hire? We're going to add that in. What's the revenue target? Okay, we're going to lose some clients. Can we sustain that? How quickly can we lose them? And can we still pay our bills, right?
Yeah.
Are you building an emergency fund kind of in the business? Like, what are you doing? What are your goals? So we do that. And then we start to look at the sales process to see, are we able to hit our goals under our current sales process, or do we need to make some edits to it? So there's 4 weeks of that. I use a book to go through it with you guys as well. Because I think sometimes pulling in outside information, like it's not just me talking, it's not just Megan talking, you're getting another perspective. So we go through a book together as well during those weeks, to give you bigger perspective on what your business could be.
No, I'm excited.
But
Yeah,
I like
I'll
a simple
definitely.
business.
Yeah, me too. Right now, I'm really fortunate. Before I went on maternity leave, because I just had my son, I can essentially,
Congrats.
as of right now, run my business from my phone, which was my goal for maternity leave. Like I got everybody to a stable point, and I do have a team that like everybody kind of knows the Asana setup. Everybody knows when everything is done. Um, I think that the piece that's missing in my business, it's me. It's me knowing what it is that I want. It's me knowing which type of clients that I want to target. It's me understanding my own sales process, understanding my metrics, understanding my average, monthly client. But in terms of like the team side, I have my Asana set up, which was a huge thing for me to do last year. And everybody understands, like we have weekly team meetings, all that. But I know the weak link right now in my business, it's myself. And that's the part that I'm like, I have to surround myself with other, bookkeeping business owners and other people that I can collaborate with, that I can, run my thoughts against. Cause being a virtual bookkeeping firm is lonely, right? Even though I'm in DC
Most
and
definitely.
there's technically so many people around me, but again, I'm going to drag my 2-month-old with me into a networking event. Like it's not happening.
I did. I joined
Really?
BNI. I'm not sure why I joined BNI, experiment or something, but I went on maternity leave when I was in BNI, and I was like, well, I'm taking my baby with me because that's the point of the business. And it got me a lot of conversations.
Did you like BNI for your business? Did it work for you? I just find I tried it. BNI I found was just so intense for referring business, and I didn't feel like it was like as organic.
It personally didn't work for me. I know we have coaches that do love it. I think part of that is the chapter you're in. The tax preparer in mine, the CPA there, I found out later their firm also did bookkeeping. So while he supported me, he talked me up to the group. He wasn't a good power partner. And then during the financial planner also had a baby right around the same time as I did, but her daughter developed cancer. I went to BNI with my son, and she was looking at my son and she was like, something's got to be wrong with mine. And she actually went and got it checked out and found out. So she stepped out of BNI. She was one of my best referral sources. So situation.
Wow. No, definitely. Yeah.
And then I moved. So then I got out of it. Sylvia, sorry, you were saying something. Maybe. So we can give you some other coaches to talk to about their experience with BNI. I wouldn't do it again. My husband is in BNI right now for another business, and it is getting him business to that, but it's also not like, it can't be the sole source of marketing, I don't think. And from his perspective, he wouldn't have me join any of the chapters in the area that we're located. There just wouldn't be enough business for them to pass my way. Like there's plenty of businesses, but it wouldn't be something that they would actually refer to, because he's kind of tested. He pitches every now and again, the bookkeeping business. So we probably wouldn't join it again. But I think that's our area. We're now in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's an island. It is a weird, really weird town. As far as like being in New Mexico, it's a weird area. So. Oh, and I just realized it is coming up on 10 o'clock, Megan. Anything you want to add you want to talk about the Bookkeeper Blueprint Plus stores that are open, I believe closing next Tuesday?
Yeah, I dropped a link in the live video if anybody wants to schedule a call with us to talk about the details and see if it's a good fit for you. But the Plus, if you need unlimited one-to-ones, you have unlimited one-to-ones with any of the coaches, Boxer access. You get our course, the success plan that Sherry was talking a little bit about. So all of that's included in there. And
Did you send the links through Zoom real quick? I didn't see that. Or
I
is it
didn't,
on the Facebook page? 'Cause
yeah,
I'm
it's on the Facebook page, but that's it. All that is a scheduling link. So you scheduled already.
for
I can,
tomorrow. Mhm.
yeah, I could send the website though if you want to take a look at that. I'll put that
Yes,
in the chat.
please.
Yep.
Do you guys do so I used to be part of like one other accountant in the past. She used to have like this membership that we used to pay for, and it was just essentially like what you said, like we could get one-on-ones and we'd have like group calls twice a month, and it was just whenever we needed help on any technical stuff that we were dealing with our clients, like we could ask her questions or like collaborate. I'm really like missing that in my life right now. I think it's like, especially some of my clients are having a little bit more like complicated, like accrual stuff, that I would love to be able to just like, tap someone's brain or have them look behind me as I do stuff.
Yeah, we do have we call it a support group. We have 12 other coaches who own their bookkeeping business. We don't add coaches typically. They've been with us since the beginning. Me and Megan also get on calls, and we get on calls for anything. So anything from mindset to marketing to your accrual client.
Oh, cool.
In addition to that, we actually have, I think we're at 16 calls now a month. So there's a lot of options. We can talk more about it tomorrow as well.
Yes, please. Okay, cool.
Actually, it all just got an upgrade too. We just introduced squads a week ago. So smaller groups within the group. So you're going to be paired with like 2 coaches in a smaller group. And that's so that you get to know the students, get to know the coaches, and really get into what are your goals? What are you struggling with? And it's a smaller, intimate community.
Perfect.
And the conversations that are happening there are super cool. So, because sometimes it's really easy to get lost in a Facebook group.
Yeah.
So we've done that, and it's kind of given a whole new face to the group, which is really fun.
Sure. All right. I look forward to our call tomorrow to talk about that. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. I'm gonna jump off for a 1-to-1, but it was so nice to see all of you guys. And you did the links, right? Cool.
Yes, I dropped them in the Facebook group, in the live for the Facebook group, but I'll post them again later in case anybody has trouble finding them or anything.
Okay. Neat. Well, you guys have a good weekend, and I will see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.